Hello, everybody. I would like to talk a little bit about eutrophication, about agriculture and good practice connected with it to stop eutrophication. And at first, we maybe short definition what it is and what the result we have. So it is excessive richness of nutrients in a lake and other body of water, for example, Baltic Sea, frequently due to runoff from the land, which causes a dense growth of plant life. Here on the picture, we see this very intensive plant life. It is algal blooming. And this problem appears every year. I observe at the Baltic coast that between June and August, at least we have the beaches are closed about a week or 2 weeks sometimes every year. And it shown that the process is bigger and grow. So what happens because of nutrient transport and in food production, the nutrient is very important and very important to the plant life. But in the water, they do the same, but we don't want it. So at first, nitrogen. It is how it transport its mineral compounds, vertical way on consuming by plant, and the way of removing to atmosphere. Horizontal, on the when we run off subsurface drainage and drainage, and vertical to the bottom, leaching and penetration into ground. And phosphorus is related to soil particles, and the matter suspends for 60 to 90% from more areas, intensive cultivation, and phosphorus transport is connected with soil erosion. Of course, the transportation is to the water, to groundwater, to the surface water, and finally to the Baltic Sea. And this nutrient loading from diffuse sources is currently by the major sources of anthropogenic nutrient in the Baltic Sea catchment area, and agriculture is the main diffuse pollution sources. About if concern nitrogen, it is about 50% and phosphorus 40%. A few years ago, the HELCOM established the allowed number of tons of nitrogen. We see almost 120,000 tons and about 15 tons of phosphorus can be have to be cut annually, and we believe that we stop eutrophication or limited this eutrophication. But this reduction must be achieved mainly in agriculture. What is very important? Why agriculture? Fact. Because agriculture practice changed dramatically during past century. New technologies, crops, animal breeding, and particularly the introduction of chemical fertilizers after the Second World War increase productivity enormously and increase as well as fertilizers losses. And I think that also another problem, it's splitting production between animal production and crop production, and that's we are not able to manage the manure when we concentrate animal production, so we have additional losses. And also change our consumer preferences toward meat consumption. The average meat consumption in EU countries is about 70 kilograms per year, per person per year. It is double when we compare with consumption all over the world, of course, except United States or North America. Moreover, the production units in animal husbandry can be very large and regionally concentrated, which provide additional problems with water, with pollution in the water. And here, in this scheme, what was prepared by Professor Arthur Grenstedt, and in his research, we see inputs, outputs, and surplus of nitrogen in crop farmer. How the process look, but how it looks in animal farm when this surplus of nitrogen and phosphorus, it's much bigger, and then we cannot manage it, because now it is not economic to transport manure to the other region. That's not possible till now. What is deciding about nutrient leaching? What is the key factors? It is soil fertility, nutrient balance, and farmers' practice. And these three factors decide about it if we have nutrients in the water or we haven't. So why it's important soil fertility? It is, look at the table. When we have humus content only 1.5%, we have only 20 to 40 kilograms nitrogen at the hectare. That's mineralization. When we have 3%, we can mineralize 40 to 80 kilograms per hectare. So fertile soil provides us with clean groundwater, serve as a filter, buffer, and storage of harmful substances, store nutrient and carbon. Arable land, the topsoil contains about 60 to 90 humus per hectare. Under good weather and soil moisture condition, 1 to 3% of the organic nitrogen can, together with other nutrients, phosphorus and sulfur, and important trace element bound the soil organic matter, and this will be available to the plants through mineralization. And that is very important, that the nutrients go to the plants, not to the water. Of course, very important is to improve soil life and structure, supply nutrients to the soil and microorganisms, increase water holding capacity, prevent nutrient leaching and stabilize soil against erosion, improve plant growth. And what kind of good practice provide to this? Carefully planning the crop rotation, at least 30% of lake content, supplied organic matter via green manure, catch and cover crops, and animal manure, keeping soil covered with plants as much as possible to avoid erosion. Now it's recommended all the year. And minimizing tillage and preventing soil compaction. Why soil compaction? Because when the soil is compacted, there is not keeping the water and the nutrients. The key issue is crop rotation. The most important element is keeping soil fertility, ensures product quality, stabilize yield, improve soil structure, minimize soil erosion and nutrient leaching. That is proper crop rotation, keep it. And of course, the design crop rotation depends on climate, soil type, marketing potential, and feed requirements. But it not makes sense crop rotation less than 4 years. It should be 4 or more years. The key issue in crop rotation, keep legumes. It is the key crops in organic system. They fix nitrogen from the air with the aid of nodule bacteria living symbiotically at the legumes roots. This is a most important nitrogen source in organic system and the precondition for avoiding the use of mineral nitrogen fertilizers. The second role, also very important, have a catch crops, provide a reduction of nutrient losses because they consume also nitrogen. Collection and storage nitrogen and reduction of wheat because it covers the soil. And finally, manure and composting. The manure from animals, especially ruminants, it's really the most important in soil fertility. And they have about 70 or 90% of the nutrients we can get from animal manure. And farm yard manure, it is a mixture, animal excrement, straw, and other bedding materials. Why it's important? What's happened? Of course, we have to avoid potential losses. Nitrogen and potassium and phosphorus, because so that is example how we provide these losses. And the most important is composting in this process, where use not fresh manure but compost manure, because in this process there microorganism with presence oxygen and temperature. Temperature is about 60 to 70%. In the pill, that's decomposed everything, and most important, they decompose pathogens, weed seeds, fly larvae, and they are destroyed. And red worms are active in final stage of decomposition, helping to destroy the compost into the humus. So we have kind of black soil we can get from the composting, and it is the most important for our plant, because the nitrogen which is in this compost, it is in organic compounds which mineralize during the time. And this nitrogen minerals are available to the plants. That is very important. And here on this table, we see that availability in the first year is 20%, only 30 kilograms of nitrogen and 80 kilograms of phosphorus can be available to the plants, can be consumed to the plants. And what is important, the rest of nitrogen and phosphorus are in organic compounds, which is preserved to the next year. So it is, and not go to the water. What about why nutrient balance is very important? Because the nutrient balance can help farmer to manage his farm, his crops and benefits, in fact, from the farm. And what is nutrient balance? Nutrient balance is a calculation tool to keep track of the nutrient flow on the farm and the key for improved nutrient use efficiency and reduce risk of nutrient losses to the farm. The preparation of nutrient balance is beneficial for a long-term planning of nutrient organic and inorganic fertilizer use. And nutrient balance informs farmers about the degree of nutrient utilization and help to identify the risk of nutrient leaching and other losses from the field and the whole farm. The work with nutrient balance provides important information for improved fertilizer plan and improved farm finances, because it's very connected with farm finances. And we have different type of nutrient balance. We can assist them farm gate balance, surface means field balance, and animal balance. And that is, as I told, that is very important tool in the farmer's hand. And there is the few countries has obligatory to every farm should have this nutrient balance plan. And probably it will be introduced in the new Common Agricultural Policy. And the nutrient balance and the farm guide provides information about the nutrient input from purchase good animal seeds, including the fixation of legumes, and all soil products are summarized as an output based on nitrogen and phosphorus examples. And balance saldo plus minus 20 kilograms indicates good status when we talk about nitrogen. When we have less, that it is information that it is the compensation is needed. In case phosphorus, the deficit up to 2 kilograms is possible. The ideal example, it also based of Professor Arthur Grenstedt idea, is this picture of ERA, it's meant ecological recycling agriculture. And then we see, at first, we have, in one farm, we have crop production and animals husbandry, what is very important because the very valuable manure will not lose the nitrogen and phosphorus, and our surplus is only 30. It's absolutely lower than in previous examples. And what kind? And the organic farm is one of the type of the agriculture which recommended, which provide help to keep nutrients in the soil. And then we compare these different types of farms, like intensive, integrated farm, ecological. We see the lowest losses is in ecological farm. And also when it is impact assessment, the organic agriculture to the environment, and we see that there is in the 3 areas as biological and landscape diversity, organic matter, and phosphorus leaching, pesticides pollution, we have very positive results in these areas. And finally, of course, we haven't all farmers organic. There is some recommendation for the conventional also farmers. What is important? How they can manage nutrients to have a good crops, and also to have a good water. And what is important, at least once every 5 years, perform soil analysis for nutrient and humus content. Observe the dates of fertilization and fertilize in appropriate weather condition. And of course, as I told, do not grow crops in simplified crop rotation. And for example, this 2 years crop rotation, what was recommended in the last common agricultural policy, it was it doesn't work. It should be at least 4 years. Whether possible using catch crops to bind and remaining nitrogen to the biomass in order to protect against leaching. Increase the amount of humus by growing green manures to be ploughed. Liquid fertilizers should be stored in sealed containers, and manure must be stored on the manure pad with rain protection. That's also very important to avoid losses. Fertilize the soil with organic fertilizers, where nitrogen compounds are gradually mineralized and are better assimilated with crops and soil biota. That is the key issue, gradually mineralize. So as I showed previously, the time is play a key role. Mixing organic fertilizer to the soil as quickly as possible. Of course, when we use directly this organic fertilizer, we should cover by soil it to avoid the nitrogen leaching to atmosphere. On the sandy soil, replace sand with clay on the bottom for the compost tip. Create vegetative buffer zones around water reservoirs and water courses for filtration and slowing down the nutrients runoff. That is very important. These buffer zones along the rivers, for example, and lakes. Planting bushes and trees as a buffer strips to reduce soil erosion. And use small retention, for example, retention water on the farm, and taking care of existing as well as creating new pools, ponds, small water reservoirs, preserving natural wetlands. And it was about nitrogen and phosphorus. It's a little bit different. Because phosphorus outflow from the agricultural land occurs from form associated with soil particles or form organic suspensions method. And protection soil from erosion is crucial method to stop this phosphorus leaching. So diversification of the cropland use structure with a significant share of perennial crops, high share of catch crops, including undersowing throughout the years, reduction of area-wide row crops, for example, beet and maize, to minimize soil erosion, and sustainable fertilization, including no phosphorus surplus. Okay, so thank you for attention. That's all for my side.